some point, the endeavor, you're not like trying to do it or do something or get somewhere. It like shifts or something. I'm not even quite sure what the word is, but that's the feeling I'm getting when you're.
There's a combination between it shifts and you shift.
Okay.
So to do training is always structural and uncomfortable. These realizations that come to you in ordinary life, that's extra. I'm just talking about training.
Yeah.
The natural enlightenment that happens, that'll come and go and be as it is. But when you train, you're going to be following a mechanical process of some set of actions. And the one thing that everybody misses is training. Like, you know, we do something and we forget it, and we're supposed to be enlightened, and we learn a couple, 1, 2, 3, something things, you know, and we put it into our plan. Then we're 90 years old, it didn't work. I want it to work more powerfully than the methods that are out there now. I want us to change and experience more happiness and health and wealth and whatever the heck is good now. And that's what this 0, 1, 2, 3 ABC is about. I really feel that it's a bit irrefutable. I mean, a lot of people have a lot of things to say, of course, and I understand that. I mean, the one thing that's hardest to talk about is you are that, you're already enlightened, you're one with God, you don't need a guru, you don't need to change. Okay, well, I heard that 400 million times from loopy people. I don't want to hear that too much anymore. I got that. I know that part is true. And if you're at all conscious, you should know that's true. And what I'm concerned about is my patterns of behavior and my karma and things like that. So I want that fixed now. So what I discovered is that that's uncomfortable training process. Then I become a better individual and I can listen better and act better and be shinier or something. But what I'm not really concerned with the product of how it's going to flesh out in my life. I'm just concerned with being a student on how I'm going to do 0, 1, 2, 3 ABC, and how I'm going to prove my understanding that if I'm going to get a healing, I need to uncover that place inside of me that is absolutely trapped in hell and stuck in a nightmare, and how I can talk to you and have you realize that's true for you too. And how certain scriptures are irrefutable, and you can go over them 1 billion times and you're not going to equal them, such as all religions, everything comes from void. And advanced meditation is part of any enlightened person's life. They're in a profound meditation place. Scientific truths, or the second step. How can I be a student of Andrea's hair more? I've made this whole big teaching about Andrea's hair now. But, you know, how can I actually let Opinder's blessing and wisdom change my life? How can I do that? That's step 2. So I need to return to it again and have established things that I'm looking at and try to do it again, because I never do it. Hasn't worked. Step 3. How can I go beyond and experience such a wonderful moment like when Lena and I were on Independence Pass, highest road in America, and just gorgeous lakes, like another world, you know, you just feel it in the air, 12,000 feet, I think, or something. And it's really cool. I like it. Like some of the spots there, you know, some of those moments. How can I have that experience where I'm not worried about me, you, and right and wrong and all that. I'm just happy. It's like I'm at home. And then how can I totally forget that experience and go into the fight of life and say, I've got to change this in me and in you. Rooting, blooming, printing. How can I develop more gravity? Real master of Tai Chi has such external gravity. It's phenomenal. And you don't see real masters in Tai Chi. I discovered the other day, this morning, that I think I can upgrade the entire way Qigong is understood and practiced. I'm going to try to put together a 30-minute thing with Andrea. After I decided that, because I was thinking about the producer of that program, Andrea said, can you please do a tape of the flow of all the things so that we can refer to it? the first time in a year and a half. She asked me that, I think, like that. And that was right after I had that thought. Anyhow, you get the idea. I don't want to be too worried. I'm concerned with the process and the training. That's all.
Mm. And those two things seem like they're the most important.
I think so. I think it's
I
more
mean, that's what I'm getting, because if you're in the process and the training, you're also in the present. Like you're in it. You're here. You're not out there. You're not like waiting for the end result or the product, like you said. You're actually being here, in the now, in the process, in the training, through repetition, through the practice. You're constantly, as I'm saying it, I'm getting it, is you're constantly hold on, what just happened? You're constantly bringing yourself back. So really, I am going to use the word, you can't, if you're really in the process and the training, then you're actually continuously going deeper and deeper within. You're not going out into la la land, or whatever you want to call it.
Anthony and the mimosas is not out there like you thought before we started talking. Anthony and the mimosas are in there. They're not out there at all. But you think they're out there because you're human like me.
Yeah.
Actually, our experience, each of us individually, whether it's mowing the lawn or the mimosas or whatever it is, if we could trust that it's in there, it's beyond belief what happens to out there in terms of being proper in doing things. Like I've got the chainsaw and I did the deck, and I got to learn how to sharpen the chainsaw. And I said to the lady before years ago, I kind of would be scared to do this or that, or to learn how to do this or that. Mm-hmm. And now whatever comes to me, I have the interest to do it myself and learn it. Because while Anthony, since he's not in the meditation, right, he's doing out there. And I'm saying to everybody, don't do out there. Just forget about it entirely until they're going to shut the electricity off or something. Because in the long run, if you do more in here, if you need to turn your attention to sell 200 mimosas, you're going to be more prepared at that point. And somewhere along the line, I don't have that figured out, but somewhere along, I'm not that clean or that educated or that smart yet. But somewhere along the line, any kind of wealth or any kind of thing will naturally happen because you so much understand about what's out there. That's why I'm not interested in marketing or putting it together, the program, because I've done it for 500 times. It never works. It's easy to make money. If I spent 5 hours to do a course in that mastermind thing and spent, creating it and talking with you, and then spent 2 hours in marketing it and talking to people and messaging and putting a like and everything, I'm going to sell some of the course. I would rather, and this was the message to the person before, I'd rather abandon the whole thing and get you. Because I'm going to be ahead of the game of anybody with $1 million now that I don't have, or anybody with healing in some area, education in some area that I don't have and they do. I'm going to go beyond them. And that's kind of how I roll. I tend to eclipse everybody because nobody's interested in internal evolution. They're always interested in an external product. That's what they're interested to talk to me about.
That's
I did that. I made, almost $200,000 a year, and I didn't do anything. All they did is show up and wait to sell the person. If you get all beautifuled up with the extra whatever is going, and you stand there and you scan, you could sell somebody on your course, and maybe you will now, because I said it, when you're doing the mimosas. All you got to do is be quiet and look for the target, just like a sniper.
See, I don't... That's just...
That's how everybody does it. That's how
But
Dean
that's
Grazio and Anthony Robbins do it. That's how they
that's
do it.
what
No matter what they say, that's how they do it. They're
no,
externally oriented. They're not sages and saints.
no, I get what you're
So I'm
saying,
not
but
fully against it, but I want to talk to you or somebody about it to understand more because I want to make sure I'm healed and I don't get lost. Because last
yeah.
time I made all that money and did it, I got lost.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. And what you just said is important to me, and what you said about the in going within is important because I think a part of it for me, but also what you're saying is there is that because I feel like I've seen what you're talking about, where um, where it does become just about the external and what you're getting and how much you're making and
Basically, every single person that
yeah,
runs a self-help or a teaching or a yoga class has one thing on their mind when they're talking to you.
how
How am
much
I going to
money.
get you to give me money for my class? That is what they're doing. They're running a business.
Wow.
They are want you to do. Now, you might get benefit from doing it, but it's not a sage or saint. It's
Yeah.
a different model.
No, that part, that's part of why, what am I trying to say is I get what you're saying and I felt that, and I worked with a woman for 15 years who was hmm, I learned a lot from her. I mean, I'm grateful for everything that I learned from her, but she was an amazing businesswoman. She
Yeah.
was one of the best network spinal analysis chiropractors there was. I mean, she was underneath Donald Epstein, who created network spinal analysis, but but she was a mass marketing amazing person, that's what she did. But when you're describing, I had a flash of her because she was so focused on that. She did have a gift and she was able to help people, but so much of her focus was on the outside. I saw her at a certain point lose herself um, in that world. uh, I don't know if that's, yeah. And at the same time, I saw her transformation when she shifted gears and she had a mentor, somebody that stepped into her life that helped her shift gears, go back within. And that I watched her, how hard it was for her. It was
Yeah.
one of the most difficult things to shift from that identity, that persona that she had built over 20, 30 years. This is who I am, my kid, and to have this, I don't know if you want to call it her guru or her teacher that came in and shift that for her, where she had to go within. And it was uncomfortable. And it was hard. Uh, just watching her, just seeing that go through. And I feel like, as I'm sharing this with you, is it was a blessing to watch and to see. So when you're speaking, I don't have any of it figured out at all, but there's some reason I'm seeing what you're talking about, how there is that fine line, I guess, of where that shift
Your
can happen.
philanthropy,
Mm-hmm.
a way to get something, is your beauty a mask to get something?
Mm-hmm.
For 100% of the people on this earth, the answer is yes. So you better be very clear about what you're trying to learn about over time. Because as people get older, they do that more. And they don't want to
Oh.
stir up any trouble because when you drop, it pops. When you relax, stuff, shit comes out. And
Mm-hmm.
now you have this discomfort of having to face your stuck neck. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
before, you didn't even know you had a stuck neck, but the shadow knew. And so as you get older, basically people devolve, they don't evolve. People do not evolve as they get older, they devolve. And by the time they're 50, 60 years old or so, they start to kind of withdraw from the whole process and just say, oh, okay, I'm just going to make things nice now, focus on money, make sure that people like me. Um, but if you want to experience evolution. It means that you're going to have to remove the covering to something that is hopeless, the aging process, for example. And so now you're going in the direction of immortality. You're not going to make it, but at least you're going in that direction. You're starting to see the mystery of life more. You know, different animals have all kinds of different senses, X-ray, infrared, all this stuff. You start to go in the direction of perceiving more of reality. And now you start to understand conceptually about the afterlife. If you want to evolve and go towards this afterlife, whether there is one or not, but it seems like there is one, then you start to do that today. So the years produce more contentment, more love, more of what they say in Qigong Xiantai, which is building the holy body of energy. So you know that you're a body of energy, not a body. And the body of energy is expressing itself through this car. And cars get old and die. But you know that there's what you are is a spirit, and it's an energy thing. You start to see that stuff more, or at least the conception of it. And it becomes more important to make sure that you're evolving as an individual than anything else. Now, you're in a different model. And for you to sell a product from that focus is very different model, because now you have to be near perfect before somebody will give you anything because you're living transparently all the time. And that's not how teachers live or teach. They don't do it that way. So if you do it that way, it's much more different, much more difficult and different of a model for how you're going to create establishment and success in the world. Are you doing what you do to give something or get something? If you're doing a course to get something, then that doesn't work. And everybody that puts together a course is doing it to get something. Pretty basically 100%. You almost don't have a chance of doing a course to give something instead of get something being your primary motivation. That's my opinion. But if you just start saying you clearly whatever you want to say, it becomes a little better. You do a better ratio.
If you're coming, so it's like this course thing that I'm trying to do, you know, still in the process. What it feels to me, and even when I've been doing this stuff, is I feel like I'm doing it to give something. And with this particular one, I mean, the platform is, and it's taking me a part of the biggest shift for me. And for the longest time, I still don't know if I still struggle with it. Maybe I do, I don't know. My point being is the concept, I made this agreement, commitment, whatever, to myself when I was younger. It's like, wow, I want to, if I'm going to help people, I don't want to use the word heal, but whatever modality it is, if I can help other people in their lives, I want to be able just to give it and not charge anything for it. Does that make sense? Like not be able to charge anything for it. And then it was like, well, the way that could happen is if I have a separate income coming in, maybe. I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is it's a shift from.
Sikhs are good examples of that.
Of what I'm talking about?
Yeah, having a job and then being a guru is a different thing. Yeah.
And it took me a long time to, even though I grew up Sikh, to understand that. And it's going back to what you can, it's having that balance, or no, like, yes, you can make your money, do what you need to do, but still help other people. Is that making sense? So this course that I'm doing, from my heart, it's like I feel like, and that's why I've been playing with it and going deeper and looking at it, like, why am I doing this course? And or even trying to do something like this, it feels to me that at the core it's to give. And byproduct, if there's a sale, great, you know.
That's that's a tougher conversation than sex. Just know that.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know how to talk to it. It's hard.
No. It's, yeah, as when you were saying that.
You can always analyze your motivation.
Yeah.
And the real key is this, that, you know, your practice ground is you and your core relationships. And as long as you stay close to that, if you do good enough with that, then there's overflow.
Is it like when you're not looking, is it like when you're not looking, is that tie into like when you're not looking for it and it shows up? Does that make sense? Like, it's not like I'm out here, like I'm trying to make a distinction here. One is where you're like, I have something to give, I need to do a course, I need to sell this. There's like this focus in creating this thing versus,
yeah, that's not right.
Versus it just shows up. And you're like, where'd that come from? I'm like,
I can make mimosas, I can sell them, it'd be a few bucks for the house, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you never want to change that model, but you're going to be tempted every 5 seconds to change the model. That's our schoolroom here, is to do something to get something, to do something to be somebody. And that's really the model of how it all works. And then you have varying degrees of people in the middle of that. But you've got to know that step one is impossible to actualize. So if it's impossible to actualize, then there's always a hidden motive. There's always something to work on. So you never can make a statement and have something clear or understood, but you can say, however good, right, wrong I am about this, I'm going to do this video, you know, and just do it, and just keep going with how the universe is talking to you. Because it's not possible for you to understand everything or me to understand everything, but you can go with the flow and work with it and have discipline as asked. But the most important thing is your training. No external product, no shooting of the arrow, just the 99. So right now we can think of it being 99% action, 1% meditation. That's the state of our mind. So the purpose of our life is to turn that around. And when we turn that around and fall in love, become happy, and be profoundly nourished and intervened for, now when we take action, it just works. Whatever we do, it works. If you're in that kind of a lifestyle to where your daily life is meditative and it's not subject to anybody else's opinion or interjection. You're pursuing deeper healing, deeper meditation. So if you do that and you feel better, you're going to mow the lawn better. But if you just want to mow the lawn and get back to spinning the records, then you're always in a state of chaos. Babaji, Babaji. Let's listen to this and start to make our way through those 3 steps, okay? Okay, the screen is shared. I've been in that room. That's Santa Fe.
Oh, wow.
10 years ago or so. 15. I might be in that audience. Just bow your head a while and put your hands in your head. Your hands, your face in your hands. I know a lot of people in that audience. Personally, from Boulder and all this area, that's Santa Fe. This is one of the first ones in Santa Fe. That guy right there is the guy that hosts Amaji meetings from Boulder. So one of the things that's extremely tedious and boring and monotonous, that's proper use of meditation technique. I guess I'm in there somewhere. I don't know, there's some years I missed. Okay, now watch again. Watch. Just watch. So now they're going like this for 20, 30 minutes. imagine that for 20, 30 hours, which that's probably the night that this is going on. So one song after another for about 20 hours straight. So after they do all this, this is probably early in the evening, and then she starts giving hugs and they open the doors to the public. This is, I'm not sure this is the general public. Maybe that might just be the retreat. But let's see if you could get the feeling. That lady in the back left, that's my buddy, old pal. She's from Australia. I know at least 30 people in that audience personally. Look at that. Worship is natural for a flower, for beauty. What about for God? What does it mean? What does it mean to bring out your negative to God and call out? That's darshan. My grandfather's picture is a version of it. And lots of different versions. The whole life should become this. But because we don't follow along like a duck, we don't do it. So we could try again to let it come through us. Yeah. You have a body, but you're not the body. You are the nature of infinite power. The entire universe is within you. You are the universe. So if you're looking at a scene in nature, you can see how you're boundlessly connected with everything. What about when you're talking to people? Have this faith and proceed in life. Keep looking. Oh, and then this song often precedes when they set up the darshan line. So right from there, then it all changes, and she starts to go for hugs, and then these guys go and maybe go into this front area and start to sing bhajans still for the next 15 hours while she's receiving hugs, and they open the doors to the general public and thousands of people. And the next morning after doing that, all of these super people, her poor devotees, pack everything up, get in the buses, go to the city, and start it all over again to the next city. And she's done that for 30 years. Personally hugged 45 million people.
Wow.
Yeah, 45 million.
I just had a flash of, I think I told you when I saw her, that was, God, 20 years ago? That was in Castro Valley.
Yes.
That was, yeah. That was when I was lucky or blessed to see her. I just had a flash as they were doing that. It just took me back to the sitting in the chair and watching the whole thing. It's powerful.
And there's 1,000 versions of it. So how do
Yeah.
we? But that's the best I know. But
Mm.
how do you pick up the book on Guru Nanak? Do you have a book on Guru Nanak's words?
I don't have a book, but I'm sure my mom does.
All right. So ask your mom, will you please send me a book on Guru Nanak? And or tell her to get which one should I buy? Because you can't understand it, but you can feel it. It's the same with scriptures. You read all
Mm.
kinds of things, and you're interested in words. The mind is constantly 10 to 80,000 words a day,
Mm-hmm.
but nothing quite like scriptures. If you read scriptures, you'll notice it's the same kind of effect as that. It changes your brain, and you don't even know what happened. So scriptures do that, and people do that are like Guru Darshani people.
You,
Uh, yeah.
there's a there is the Granth Sahib, which I have it somewhere.
Guru, what was it called? Guru Sahib, I forget. I used to have one. I gotta get
The
another
Guru
one.
Granth Sahib,
Is that it?
the Guru Granth Sahib is a big book, but then you have the smaller book. I have it wrapped up. Oh, I had it in my altar. I want to pull it out for you, but I have it, and they have one now. They have it a translation. So you
Yeah.
have the Indian words, and they have the English translation, so you can actually read it in English, an English scripture. My mom actually gave me the translation of the Inkunkar Satanam. Do you know that prayer? The Inkunkar. It's the
Well, I
main
know what
jap.
some of the words mean, but I don't know.
Yeah, I got the translation from her, and I was like, what does it mean? Inkunkar Satanam Karta Purk Nirpo Nirvar Akal Mort Ajuni Sepang Gur Prasad Jap. We should say that. I had a flash of it
Well,
last
you have to
night.
say that every
Yeah,
day,
and I
at
have the
least once.
well, I've
Goes
been doing
right
it.
down. I have to say it once every day.
I've started doing it. I started doing it 2 nights ago at night,
Okay.
counting it 21 times, and it just came to me as a part of my meditation. And
Okay.
when I started doing it, I started count. I remembered as kids. The memory came to me, William, is
Yes.
when we were kids. Something is I was like Inkungar Satanam because I used to do it every night when we were kids because for
Yes.
fear or whatever. And I
Yeah.
started doing this, and I was like, I haven't thought about this. I don't even
Yeah.
know, but we used to count.
Send
We
me
used to
that
go.
prayer.
I'll send it to you. And the translation, and my point being, we started counting. I remember counting in our little fingers when I was kids with my brothers and sisters. We would count to 21 and
Yeah.
count
I
the
use
little
my
nooks and
toes and
crannies.
fingers all the time because I'm too dumb not to. So I have to do it. Every time that we talk, probably, and had a session, I'm counting one toe, the other toe, the other toe, uh, at certain times when we're going in meditation and all to stretch the attention. It seems to be necessary to count the breath or count the toes or fingers. I can't seem to go beyond it. So
Yeah, it was just interesting as you said that, and so I'll send it to you. I have it on my altar actually, the
yes,
Inkunkar and the. Let me show you real quick, if you don't mind. Hold on,
yes,
I'm just gonna show you. It's just something simple. I mean, I know it's. I have this. It has the gurus on it, all
oh,
10
nice.
gurus. It
Yes,
has Guru Nanak in the middle, and
yeah,
then the translation that my mom gave me, I wrote it down, so it's right here. I'll send it to you
good.
because
Yeah,
it says each one and the breakdown of it.
yes, I'll do it. It'll go in my altar.
Cool.
Hmm. Now remember that it's the surrender to the transmission, and if not 21, at least one. One of the things we said in the last teaching was this confusion about whether you have to do this for the rest of your life or whether I make it user friendly. I'm not sure that I understand yet, but anyway, you've got to make sure it happens every day. So 10's 5 customized, you're 21. I don't know how it works, but we're going to look next time at evaluating deep relaxation. Remind me, okay, please.
Okay.
Deep relaxation, high stimulation, and then feeling peace of mind without thought. We're going to evaluate how well you can do that. And now let's put prayer hands together and open up to the sky, because you have to come into your body after you do this. Otherwise, you have no life in the world. Down through the earth. That's why spiritual people have no power in the world, mostly. Down through the earth. Prayer hands. trees, mountains, oceans, your immediate environment, all the people in it. Open up. Gather in. Right hand on chest, left hand on belly. Wipe it down. Prayer hands. It's a silly form. You have to do silly forms. Silly forms and rituals is the way of the master again. That's not what I say. That's how masterful people roll. They have little routines, little things they do. We're going to open up to the earth underneath. The more silly it is and awkward, the better, because now it's something that's just yours that nobody else really relates with. Touch the head, calm down, bring it down through the body. Like this. Do some muscles. Compress your stomach. Pull up the Kegels. When you inhale, pull up the Kegel. Exhale, push it. Push down like shitting. Compress the stomach. Do the animal scratching. Really important because you just go out of conflict. When you get done, you got to go in conflict. The whole scratching thing is very akin to going in conflict. And there's no way you're not going to go in conflict. When you're talking to people, you're not going to go like this. But this is pre-talking to people. Okay, so you remember 0, 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. And that can all be done in 5 minutes. If you want to make 15 minutes, that's fine. But to be on the clock in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and to do all of those things, 0, 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, is the way to make sure that you're time tested and you can improve your ability. So my recommendation is to do it all in 5 minutes, 0, 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. If you want to do it longer, that's great, but that's got nothing to do with your 5-minute daily practice. You look at the clock, 5 minutes, 0, 1, 2, 3, ABC. You know what 0 is, who's in touch. Number 1, expose your stuff. Number 2, slow down, be a conduit for that kind of darshan. 3, go beyond. 4, get into the body, get back to the physical world. Blooming. B, bloom out. C, printing, take action. Establish your place by emanating negative grounding and positive animating and neutrality. That's a cycle, proper cycle of meditation with words around it. And that was in 2 minutes or a minute and a half. I did it, right? So
Yeah,
you can do
that's cool.
5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. I gotta write one thing down.
It's important to do it in 5 minutes because then I can test you. How quickly can you bloom? What do you do when you bloom? What about the inside of trees? What about cat fur? What about a bear? What about oceans? What about dolphins? So your mind begins to become co-processing different blooming things. What about rooting? Co-processing, so forth.
Okay. Okay, I just made those notes.
Can I have one of the turbans?
Yes, you can. You know, they're really, really long, right? I mean, they're like 8 feet or more. But yes, when you asked me that, I had a picture of helping my grandfather wash his turbans, and then we would help him fold them. And I can't even tell you, it's more than 8 feet long.
Bring me a turban when you see me.
I will bring you a turban.
And then you got to put it on my head, and then we could take pictures for fun. I'll show them to my mom.
Yeah, we can do that. I'll have to practice before. I'll probably watch a YouTube video to remind me how to do it.
Yeah.
But we used to help them. Haven't thought about that stuff in forever.
Write that down, please. Helping your grandfather put his turban on. That goes in your my favorites list. Make copies of the picture of your great grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
Put that around more places. Get a picture of Amaji, print it out, put that somewhere on your altar. Start to have things everywhere. Yeah.
Okay.
Till you don't need it. I don't know people that don't need it. They're so wise. I need it. I gotta have a picture there and a thing there. I'm just that weak.
Thank you for that reminder. Thank you for that reminder. That's a good reminder to do that. So I have a couple. Thank you. Are we still chatting tomorrow?
Nah.
You're over it?
You figure it out and then do it. What do you need me for? I don't want anything to do with it. I can't stand it. I've got the program. You figure it out. Make the flyer. What do you need from me? You don't need anything from me. You know what I
no,
do. You know, whatever you want me to do, you know?
Okay, I'll find out what I need from you and I'll let you know.
Oh,
Then
yes.
I could just all I'll do is all I need. I think you already sent it to me, but I'll see. I pretty much just need your course. I think you sent me your monthly thing of how you do the monthly course. And then what I can do is I can just pop it up underneath.
Oh, that's the
presenting.
Qigong. Nobody wants Qigong, do they? Lena wants me to teach Qigong and all, but who's interested in Qigong? I got a thing called the Wellness Toolbox.
The Wellness Toolbox, that's what you sent me.
Oh, you go to my website and there it is. And then you have notes, and before you ever actually print anything, before it's like done, you tell me because there's a new version already of that first page. So
okay, I'll let you know about that. I'll figure out how to do that part. You just reminded me one question I did want to ask you was
yes.
Who wants to know about Qigong? There actually are there's a few people that have popped up. I know Anthony has a friend that wanted to know, and then also I have a friend who I've been talking to you about, the woman actually that did my video, a really good friend of mine. How do we, if people want to know about you, so do we give them your email? Do we get you? How do we get you connected to them? Is just my question.
Tell them to send me an email and say hi, and we'll talk about it. Okay. Or we'll do a Zoom.
Okay. I didn't want to forget to, so thank you for reminding me to ask that, because he has a friend and I have a friend, and I just wanted to figure out how do we get people.
They can message me without being my friend on Facebook.
Okay.
I don't know how much I come up. I'm pretty much shut off from people seeing me, but maybe it's there.
I think people can search for you.
I think you should be able to find me at least, but then you can't see anything, I hope, on my page, unless you're my friend.
Let's do that right now. Actually, I think you can search for people. Actually, I'll be able to.
But you can't do it unless you're signed in. So if you're signed in, you're automatically my friend.
Yeah. No deal. Yeah, anyways, I'll figure that part out. Just make sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you, and see you Wednesday.
Wednesday, yes.
Wednesday, 1.
Wednesday? Yeah.
Today's Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday, same time. Today's Wednesday, yeah. Yes, it is Wednesday.
Okay. Happy Moses. Blessings.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to you too. I'll talk to you next week.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.